Words community. Hello, and I'm introducing to you this morning a new poet that blogs for the Daily Wisdom Words community, Neel Trivedi. Hi, Neel. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm real good. Can you tell me a little bit about your life and how you got into writing?
Oh wow, what a loaded question. I think I've been writing for as long as I can remember, probably when I was a little kid, because when I was born with a severe case of asthma, and I couldn't run around and play like a lot of the other kids in the neighborhood. So basically, I'd have to find ways to like entertain myself, and that would usually be reading and writing. So since then, I've been as far as I can remember, ever since I learned to write, I've been trying to put my thoughts on paper. And obviously, over the years, it's better than it was when I was 6 years old. But that's pretty much how I got started. It was as far back as I can remember, actually. So
Well, what was the first thing you started writing? Was it poetry or
it might have
stories?
been simple poetry, like stuff like about cats, dogs. I mean, when you're 6 years old, you're not really writing about anything serious. But it must have been like something similar to what I was reading, because you tend to be influenced by stuff that you read. So it must have been very Dr. Seuss like poetry. So that kind of stuff.
Well, can you tell me how you got involved with Daily Wisdom Words?
Well, I was on Twitter, and as was Samantha, as you and we both know, the founder and creator of DailyWisdomWords.com. And we connected on Twitter because we were both writers and both had a love for reading poetry and other things. And so we connected on there, developed a friendship, and then one day, just she made me an offer to say that, would you like to be a contributor to this website that I'm creating? And I thought it was a wonderful opportunity to not only continue practice writing, because at that time a lot of other things were taking up my time. So I thought, here's a way to regularly start writing again. And I love the whole concept of my page, Wisdomology, where I get to share advice and tips on life, psychology, and pretty much anything under the sun. So when she called me and presented the opportunity, I just lapped it up right then.
Yeah, she has afforded a lot of opportunities to a lot of really good people, and I'm really honored that she asked me to write too for the DailyWisdomWords.com community. Can you tell us a little bit about your blog and your wise advice column? You
Yeah,
do
so
wise advice, right?
yeah, it's so it started out really simple. Actually, when Samantha first pitched me the concept, she said that basically you'll take a quote and just share simple thoughts on it, just expand a little bit. And from there, I started finding quotes for every day, for every post, and started writing. And it just became longer and longer till it became a full-fledged column, when it was never really meant to be in the beginning. At least it was just supposed to be, here's the quote, what do you guys think of it, give me your thoughts. But then I started giving my own opinion, interpreting it, and just it became a full-fledged blog. And now it's more, I guess I don't like calling it that, but it's almost like an advice column, where I share my thoughts on just different things. And I've covered a lot of topics like abuse, depression, I mean, you name it, and I probably covered it. So it's kind of like I guess you could say, a very, very simplified advice column as of now.
Well, can you tell us what you think DailyWisdomWords.com can offer the reader, the person who just likes to read, and also the writer? What we can offer other writers?
Oh, wow. Okay. So, yeah, another loaded question, because DailyWisdomWords.com offers so much. First of all, there's tons of poetry. There are very fun interactive pages and sections. Like, for example, there's picture poetry. So every time, someone will post a picture, and basically you're inspired to give your thoughts on that picture, write a poem if you're a writer, or just be inspired by it. Samantha has a Daily Wisdom Words, the main page, where she reflects on words and gives her thoughts. It's similar to mine, but a little bit different because hers is, I think, a little bit more personal, a little bit more introspective. And then, let's see, and then there's your page where you talk about poets and past and present, which I love because really you help everyone, all the readers, get inside the heads of these poets, even the ones who are not living, to see like what made them tick. So that's really interesting. And then there's a music prompt where, every week there are, I think it's twice a day now, songs are posted, and basically you give your version of that song. So that's a really fun thing to do. So it offers a lot of opportunities. And of course, let's not forget that, once you become a member, now temporarily membership is free for if you sign up to do a book review, where if you are a writer and you have a book, we will professionally review that for you, put it in the Daily Wisdom Words library, promote it on Amazon, promote it on social media websites. So there's a lot. I mean, I know I'm probably not even covering the tip of the iceberg here because dailywisdomwords.com offers so much, the reviews, writing opportunities, publication opportunities, reading, like barrage of stuff, poetry, articles, columns, you name it, it's there.
It's got a little bit of everything. And,
Yep.
and it's always free for the person who just wants to read.
Oh yeah, definitely. Even if you're not a writer, there's just so much to read, and it's not just poetry. Like I said, columns and editorials, and lot of stuff, lots and lots of stuff.
Book reviews, if you're in the market to buy a book. I mean, it's just a wonderful website.
It is.
Have you ever published anywhere else, like newspapers, magazines, newsletters, those sort of print publication?
Yeah. First, I got my start in journalism. That's what I studied in college. So I think my publication history, as far as my name being in newspapers and magazines, goes back a long way, probably the early 2000s. And since then, I've changed careers a little bit, so I'm not so active in journalism anymore. But I've had definitely since then I've had poetry published in a couple of anthologies. I've had short stories published in a lot of online magazines. So yeah, I've had a lot of stuff published in compilations, anthologies, things like that, print and digital both.
Well, congratulations on your success.
Thank you.
Can you share with us your philosophy of life? I know that Daily Wisdom Words is very psychology based.
Yep.
And it also has spiritual elements to it. Because we've got people, we've got Christians on there, and we've got people, very sensitive people, love nature, and I just want to know what your philosophy of life is and how that applies to your column.
Well, and I noticed that one of the greatest things about the site is that it provides such different points of view. So I've noticed, like you and Samantha, you bring a lot of spirituality in it, sometimes a little bit of religion, which is great. And then I usually offer an alternative to that for people who may not be as religious or, as spiritual. And so I think that I've always looked at life, me personally, as a combination of both. There's a little bit of religion, a lot of spirituality, but also our own mindsets and the way we think, in the environments that we grow up. I think that personally shapes us a lot as well. So what I like to think of it, life in general, as a mix of everything. You have a little bit of this and you have a little bit of that. And through the various environments and possibly religion, possibly spirituality, it's amalgamation of things that form our thoughts, our philosophies, our point of views. And one of the things that's why I'm really proud of for the wisdomology pages, that I offer so many alternatives to what you and Samantha offer. So it's like you're getting a little bit of everything. And I always make sure to put that if you believe in this, do this. If you believe in that, then do it that way. But the end result is the same. The end result is to have a life where you're thinking positively and you're optimistic and not too pessimistic. So that's so it's basically, you could say the site offers 4 or 5 different ways to get to the path of having an enriching life, if you will.
Thank you. Thank you. Can you share with us a couple of your poems? 1 or 2 of your poems?
Sure. Let me pull out my little thing here. I have it written down, so just let's see. All right, give me 1 second. It's loading up. I'm going to read this off my tablet since I had it saved. Okay, so I actually have 2 poems, and the first one is about, when people are sometimes stressed out, your friends, your family members, and sometimes they actively need advice on what to do, how to get out of that bad situation or bad period of life. But then there are other times when people don't necessarily always need or even want advice. They just want somebody to tell them that, hey, I'm there for you for whatever you need. If you need advice, I'm here. If you just want somebody to listen while you vent your frustrations, I'm there. And this poem, it's called Soul Whisperer. It kind of passes on that message of, hey, I'm there for whatever you need me for. So I'll be reading that first. And here goes. Soul Whisperer. I come with no ostentation, no glory or cavalcade, for I creep upon this junction not to arouse a racket, but to dismember the status quo. I make no proclamations to be your knight in shining armor or to dry your tears, but instead to bequeath equity of them, to feast on the salt with you. I come not to sheathe your malformations, but to stand in their gallery and be a zealot for ages, of what my heart senses to be not your wounds, but victors of endurance. Think not of me as a paladin in a quaint fable, but just as a commoner who's just here to proclaim, I once bore what you did, and hearken the language of your soul that others may have stained as an enigma. So, that was one. Go ahead.
That was very beautiful. Do you have anybody special in your life these days?
Not at the moment, no, but I'm looking. So, ladies, if you're watching this, no, I can't.
Eligible bachelor here.
So, and the second one is, how in today there, I really believe that society has become very bipolar. There's no middle ground anymore. People are just so either or, like you either lean one way or the other. And so this is a poem that I wrote a long time ago after, I don't remember which incident it was, but there was an attack on a church or something. And this inspired me to write a poem where, just ask, why is there so much hate? Why is there so much hatred in society based on skin color or religion? So the second poem, it's called Why the Hate, and that's what it's based on. So I'll go ahead and read that. I ask a stranger how he or she was born. From a mother's womb, they say, just like I was. So why the hate? I ask a baby what religion is. To the best of my ability to decipher baby talk, he or she appears to not know, just like when I was a baby, blissfully unaware of grown-up talk. So why the hate? I ask a stranger how he or she communicates, with a tongue just like mine, they say, the birthplace of every language, I think. So why the hate? I once spilled paint on my arm. A palette of various colors made habitats on my skin before leaving during my next shower. Yet my heart, personality, and identity remained the same throughout. So why the hate? I try to form a collective hypothesis of my conversations. We're all born the same way, and all die someday. Skin color and religion prove to be highly incompetent to help a heart beat, lungs breathe, and brain cells grow. So why the hate? That was it.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
I just believe that true religion and true science do not contradict each other.
Exactly.
And there's no place in our society for hate. No place for hate. Well, thank you very much, Neel. It's so nice meeting you. Maybe we can meet some other time, just me and you and nobody else watching, and we can be friends.
Yeah,
Thank you very much, Neel. You have a very nice day.
You too. Thank you for having me. Really enjoyed this. Okay. All right.
I
Okay.
think I'm still recording.
Yeah, I think it's still
Trying to stop.